Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started. Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Dave.
Dave, Lee, great to be with you guys again. This is always, to me, one of the highlights of my week, honestly.
Life is really
Same.
good, man.
Yeah,
Life
it
is
is.
good, and I love doing these podcasts and educating the public as much as we possibly can. And, you know, today's topic is going to be very interesting because it's how to find a quality shop that you can build a relationship with.
There you go.
You know, what are the things that you do? And I get this asked all the time.
Me too.
By the public. You know,
Me too.
people that
Absolutely.
you go to the grocery store, you go out in the public and you're talking, and people will ask you, how do I find a quality shop that I can build that relationship with, a long-term relationship? Because we don't want a speed date.
Right.
We want a long-term relationship with our clients.
I think the most important things that people can be looking for, first off, are they willing to listen? Will you pay attention to what I'm asking? And not always do the customers know exactly what they're even looking for or even what to ask for. But that is really what our job is to listen and understand. One of the things we do was as soon as the customer comes in, and it starts right at the drop, you know what I mean? What is it that you would like from your vehicle? In other words, I want to know how to partner with you best.
Expectations.
In order to exceed your expectation. I want to at least meet it.
Yeah, right.
But my hope is that we can exceed that expectation. But I also want you to guide me down that path, because as far as the way we look at it is we're partners. We're becoming partners. All right. I don't, like you said, I don't want to have just one or two visits. I want to join together with forces, and I want to spend a lifetime with you. And I want to be able to serve you in a manner that is pleasing to you. But I need to understand what that looks like for you, because I don't want to just inject.
And it's different for everybody,
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Everybody thinks differently about their vehicle.
You bet.
And everybody drives differently.
You bet.
They do.
You bet.
How
and
do you
everybody
drive?
has.
Where do you drive? How often do you drive? How many miles do you drive?
You bet.
And how often have you had your vehicle serviced? And I guess
you
some
got-
of that data that helps build that relationship.
Well, you got
right?
that customer that drives maybe 2,000-3,000 miles a year. And then you've got the customer that drives 30, 40, maybe 50,000 miles a year.
Well, you've got the A to B driver, you know what I mean? You've got the soccer mom drivers, you've got the long distance, you know what I mean, going from, let's call it Queen Creek into Phoenix, you know what I mean, consistent 35, 40 mile, day drivers. So the real key is understanding what they want from their vehicle, you know what I mean, and what kind of longevity, you know what I mean, they are expecting out of it. Because here's the thing, once again, we can enable, you know what I mean, our people to be able to know what they can expect from us, you know what I mean, before we ever even pick up a wrench or start working on their car. And that really, I think, sets us off well, because listen, we've heard even from our own producer, you know what I mean, about some experiences that have gone horribly wrong, because ultimately sometimes people, want to act like, well, I know more than you, or I know better than you, or I understand, this, and just they're to some degree condescending. That is absolutely not what you are looking for.
Well, my wife ran up and says, I don't know. And she gets people on the phone and, hey, I got this problem. And she says, I'm sorry, I don't speak car. And she doesn't. She's not a technician. She's a business owner along with myself, but she doesn't speak that language. So she's going to connect them with someone who can, because if you're speaking two different languages, and my wife and I took a little honeymoon to Europe for our 30th anniversary, and we went to 6 different countries that all spoke different languages. So, it's difficult for those who don't speak any second language. It's very difficult. It makes it a very trying thing, but most people are very, amicable and everything. And
The one thing you recognize in any language, good customer service.
Exactly.
Well, and we started out this podcast by saying what should you look for when you're looking for a quality shop that you can build a relationship with? Well, and I'm going to have to tell you right now, communication.
You bet.
Is number one.
Amen.
Is number one. But
You are absolutely right.
But above and beyond that, let's just face it that they've got car trouble and they are looking for a shop. I tell all my customers, first thing you want to do is you want to go look at the reviews.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
bet.
find out
You bet.
how well they communicate.
Well, years in business, and like you say, what are your customers saying about you? What are your customers saying about you?
Right.
What do our customers say about us? Because that really has some great validity to helping you make a decision. You know what I mean? And understanding, wow, these people have really been served. Because I think, in addition to communication, all right, it is want to. You know what I mean? I want to serve you. I want to help you.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
mean,
forward to
the
appreciation is what I call
communication.
it.
I mean, communication is a very generic term.
Yeah.
Because there can be good communication, there can be weak communication, there can be bad communication, there can be hostile communication, there can be you're being talked down to communication, and they make you feel foolish, stupid,
That's why I start out with listening.
uneducated. So there you go. There's the key. Listen to what the customer is looking for, what they want, what they need. Kind of feel them out and find out what's the best method of communicating with this person. Some people they have PhDs.
Yeah.
So, but they don't know anything about cars. You know, it's kind of it's a weird mix. So you still have to understand who this person is, what they do, what they use their vehicle for, and how can we best serve them, right? And communicate that in a way that sounds intelligible to them at whatever level of understanding and education they may have or not have.
And I will tell you guys this, whenever I look for a service that I don't provide or that I don't know anything about, one of the things that I do if I going on Google or going on the internet or looking for them, one of the things I really look for is I look at the reviews. Number one, to see how good they communicate and how well they listen, because you both said that, and that's perfect, because it really, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen more than you talk, right?
Amen.
And so I look at the reviews, and I'm going to be the first person to tell you that we're not perfect.
No, we're not.
And you know what? We make mistakes. And you know what? If we do get a review on there that is a concern of one of our clients, it's how you handle that review. I don't chastise anybody or
People are
discount
entitled
anybody.
to their own opinions.
Right. And people have their opinions, and sometimes sometimes we're not a match.
You bet.
I mean, it's no different than dating. Sometimes you're not a match.
Right.
But what I do is I look for how well did the shop or the business respond to that?
Mm-hmm.
Do they care?
Mm-hmm.
Do they really want to make it right? If there is something on their end that they need to change or rectify, every time that I get any kind of a concern from a customer, whether it's online or just verbal, I learn from.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And that's the most important thing. As a business owner, we learn from those things, because sometimes our processes they're outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're not. They could be better. And so we need to learn to listen, to change whatever we need to change to make that process better for our clients, because it doesn't matter for us. It matters for the client.
And that's what it's all about, because to your point, I love the fact that Kelly, my wife, she's the one who does most of the responding to the reviews, and she has absolutely the same approach. In fact, sometimes reviews can be very brutal, and sometimes they can be very, overwhelmingly, fascinating.
Right.
But you learn from both ends of the spectrum, because to your point, if there's an adjustments that need to be made, you know what I mean? An outdated behavior or a thought process, it gives us a chance to really rally and group, our team together and say, hey, listen, we need to be a little bit more focused on doing this. You guys, sometimes it's really about the little small things in life, you know what I mean, that make the biggest differences. It's not generally major overhauls. It's little tweaks, you know what I mean? But for the consumers and for the people that are coming into our shops, what we want them to know is we've got your back and we want to take care of you. Because here's the thing. I love and appreciate every one of my customers. Guess what, you guys? I love going to work.
Me too.
I like to come to work. It's a labor of love. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that we don't have headaches and we don't have problems. I mean, come on, let's face it, guys. We're in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
We gotta be insane.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
But at
We are insane.
But at the same token,
That's a prerequisite.
The people that we get to serve. Think about the opportunities that we have. How could you not go to work smiling? You know what I mean? When people come in, I mean, the first thing you want to do is, hey, how you doing? How's the day going? Give them a hug, give them a snuggle, welcome them. And then, you know what? I want to see them over and over again. And the key to it is people come in the first time and they're kind of like got the deer in the headlights, like, whoa, this is overwhelming. I mean, look at this place. This place is gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sitting here, at Good Works, and this is fantastic. But I mean, It's very welcoming, very inviting. I mean, these are things, and I think, like I say, some of the ladies.
Thanks to my wife, by the way, she puts up decorations for every season, whether it's the 4th of July or now it's fall. We got pumpkins all over the place, and
beautiful, Ray. Great job.
Yeah.
Well, but the interesting thing is, and my wife has said this, and I've heard it said by the ladies all around. Intuition. You use your intuition. You know what I mean? You walk in to a place and all of a sudden you feel invited. You feel welcomed. You feel as though they really want you. It goes right hand in hand with the reviews that you're talking about, with the listening that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now I will tell you guys, and I think this is absolutely vital because I do this with every business, not just automotive repair, but when I walk in, I'm waiting for that person, right across the counter from me, who I don't know from Adam. I want them to ask me questions about what I want. You know what I mean? That's exactly correct. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that correction.
Could be Adam or Eve.
I want them to find out about me. What am I looking for? How can they serve me the best? Because if they don't know what I want, or they just feel like they have a insight as to what I need, I'm a little bit put on the abrasive for just a moment, because I need to let them understand. I've actually thought about this. I actually, I know what I'm looking for, and I want to know if you can provide that.
Well, and one of the things that I tell my team all the time is fixing cars, servicing cars is a byproduct of what we really do. What we really do is we serve customers.
Customer service.
Customer service, and whatever their transportation needs are, that's our job. Make sure
it's a waning and declining skill, you guys.
Right. And no, it is totally. And the thing of it is we want to make sure that their transportation needs are met.
Absolutely.
And whatever they need. And it's back to the point you brought up, and you did too, Glenn, is that we got to learn to listen.
Yep.
We got to listen. And when you come through that front door as a client and they're not listening to you, or they're talking like this and you're not on the same page, it's time to either get a manager involved in it or maybe look for another shop.
Yeah.
And we strive very hard, and believe me, we fail sometimes too. Our communication sometimes isn't as good as I would like it to be, but you know what? We strive every day to make sure that customer understands exactly what our service is, what we need to do, what the timeline on it is. Just to make sure that we're on the same page.
And the other thing that I think goes hand in hand, we're kind of really talking a little bit, and not that it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's just we're talking about the intake, but I think responsiveness is absolutely essential. I want to know, you know what I mean? We need to keep the customers informed as to what is going on with their vehicles, because let's face it, as cars being tools, as vital to our quote unquote freedoms, you know what I mean? I mean, without a car, most of us have 5 or 6 cars, but most of our clients don't. You know what I mean? So when you don't have your vehicle and you're stuck without it, you're thinking, gosh, what is going on? What is going on? And every hour that ticks by, we're like, boy, I wish I knew. It is imperative, I believe, that we make sure that we're in constant contact with our customer to allow them to understand where we are in the process.
And the cool part is that we have tools to do that now.
You bet.
And even if it's not a voice on the other side of the phone, we do digital inspections on all 3 of our, and we can text them, we can email them, we can communicate and keep them informed at the press of a button. Here's the progress. Here's where your vehicle's at right now. We'll have it by 5 o'clock today or 2 o'clock or whatever. And we try to get that information, but sometimes, things go wrong in other jobs. The tech had to finish up another job, and it kind of, belayed the finish of the other vehicle. But letting the customer know that is important, because we've set an expectation.
And now you're resetting the expectation. And I will tell you, Glenn, you hit on something there that really kind of was the next point that I was going to be talking about. And that is, it all falls under the communication, umbrella. But that is, man, when that phone rings, pick that doggone thing up.
By the 5th ring, they're gonna hang up.
By the 5th ring, I was gonna say.
And then I want to brain some of my people when I hit them in the head with the phone.
And what Glenn brought up was a very good point.
Really good.
And comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what? When that customer feels comfortable, that's when that relationship starts to really cultivate. When you're keeping in contact with that customer, sending them the digital vehicle inspection, sending them the text, communicating with them and letting them know where their car is, when they're going to get the car back. Right. Yep. Because there's nothing worse than a customer or a client calling you up and going, hey, what's going on with my car? And you're like, you're a service writer, or you're on the other end going, I don't know. And it's embarrassing. So the thing of it is you're 100% right. Staying in constant contact with that customer to make sure that they feel comfortable about all of the processes that we're doing, and making sure that they're in the loop of their basically their buying and transportation needs.
Oh, you bet. Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about before. There's such a process, that goes on, from, evaluating the vehicle, making sure that we find the problem, sourcing and isolating and locating the part, and then making sure that we can get it in a timely manner, and then resetting the expectation to make sure that we can get it back when we say we've done. In other words, listen, accountability. I think that is one of the vital pieces too, is you're looking for accountability, and that's the accountability on us, to make sure that we do what we said we're going to do, because there is no such thing as excuses in accountability. Yeah. Accountability simply means you're going to do what you said you were going to do when you said you would do it, by the time you said you'd do it, without exception.
Right.
That's what,
or without excuses.
Without excuse. But that's literally that is kind of the standard that we have to set and live by. And when we recognize that something, sometimes it's out of our control, sometimes within our control, changes, then immediately we have to pick up that phone and we have to communicate with our customers and our clients and let them know, hey, listen, we've had this occur, and guess what? You guys, truth is the only policy. You know what I mean? Just let them know. We're all human. We recognize that things don't go perfectly from time to time. Sometimes things happen. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we've had parts drivers get in accidents. You know what I mean? Lo and behold, heaven forbid that ever really occurs, but it does. You know what I mean? This is life we're living.
Right. Well, guys, it's been very informative, and help me recap. I just want to recap for our listeners out there. Number one, that let's when you're going to look for a quality shop that you can build a relationship for, my first thing is hey, go check out the reviews. Look at their bad reviews too. If they've got a bad review in there, see how
look
they
at all the
responded to
reviews,
this.
as many as you can.
Right.
Some of us have hundreds of reviews.
Right,
But,
and just see. Well, you really want to see how when things go bad, how do they handle it?
And
Do they lash out? And Lee brought it up, very accountability. So if they're accountable for whatever happened and they're willing to make it right, that's what you want to see.
You bet.
In my eyes, that's what you want to see.
Absolutely.
And then the second thing is we talked about what?
Communication, right? Absolutely. It's
listening,
vital.
Listening and being very vital.
Yeah.
What else should a customer look for when they're trying to find that shop?
Well, it's very straightforward. Once you decided that you're going to go in, you want to start looking, that they are going to back up exactly what they've said, because literally the interview started on the phone. You should be looking to get asked questions. You should be looking, to find out that they really do care about you and
see
that
how they answer the questions.
You bet.
Yep.
And that they appreciate your business. I'm looking for people to appreciate me, not only as a human being, but the fact that, I'm going to be bringing business to them. I want to know that they appreciate that. You know what I mean? That they're
and make sure that they're competent. Make sure that they're able to fix your car. Sometimes we get customers that have come in and they'll bring your car in and it'll have a running problem or whatever. They went somewhere else and they did all the maintenance. They threw a bunch of parts at this car, didn't fix it, and then they said, well, we don't do that kind of service. So the bottom line is you want to make sure, can they go from the beginning to the end to do that actual repair? Are they
motors to maintenance, tires to transmissions?
Right.
Do it all.
Do they have the technology? Do they have the staff? Do they have the educated? Do they have the training for their people to be able to diagnose that car,
the equipment,
fix that car, and fix that car? Yeah, the equipment. So you want to make sure that they're able to actually fix their car. Don't let them experiment and just throw parts of your car until they fix it, because that's not what we do.
No question. Well, and through the process, you know what I mean? You really have to use, and women are so much better at this than men.
Oh, absolutely.
Use your intuition, your instincts. You know what I mean? If you walk in, and I will tell you, and it's happened more often than not, I'll get stuck in a situation where I'm not necessarily overly comfortable, you know what I mean, with what I'm being told or with the experience in general. You know what? Turn around, walk out. Get out of there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the thing of it is,
or ask for a manager, or ask for a manager. If you're in the middle of it and you're getting in the weeds and you're talking two different languages, like we talked about earlier. Glenn was talking about going somewhere. You're talking two different languages. It's never going to work.
That's exactly right.
So you want to go talk to a manager and say, hey, this is what I've done that. I've been to places where my wife's dealing with something and it's not going real well, and they're talking on two different pages. I'll ask for the manager and get the manager over and say this. She wants this, and he said, you can't do this. Whatever the situation is, and the manager said, no, we can do that. And usually it's solved in usually a short amount of time because somebody just took the time to listen.
You bet. And that's what it really takes. You have to have people that are interested in you. You know what I mean? Can't just be all fluff and stuff. My wife has said this to me. I got the biggest kick out of it. And ladies, tell me what you think about this. She says, when I walk into a place and I decide where I want to do business, I communicate. And the first thing she says is, may I use your bathroom?
Oh, that's good.
And I said, you do what? She says, yeah, can I use your bathroom? And she goes into the bathroom to see how well kept that bathroom is, because based on the fact, you know what I mean, that there's more than one person utilizing that. If that thing is kept proper, clean, nice, guess what? You can generally gauge some of your experience through that process. And I thought, that is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
Well,
that actually is true. And we've had many of our customers even say that their bathrooms are immaculate, their shop was clean, their showroom or whatever.
I think it makes a huge difference.
Their office was amazing. Their customer service, all of their service advisors were friendly.
Yeah.
They were helpful.
Yeah.
They got right to the heart of my problem and everything else like that. And I felt very assured that my vehicle was going to be fixed right. And so those are, things. And I oftentimes have customers who seek me out because I'm in a different office. I've got 3 service advisors or sometimes 4 up in front here. And so I kind of have an office because I'm not working on cars. I really don't take phone calls and write service anymore. But people ask, hey, can I see Glenn? And then they come and say, wow, you got an awesome crew here. They took such great care of me. Angel, Pete, or Jeremy, or Alan just did a spectacular job of taking care of me. That to me, that's a feather in my cap, because guess what? I trained them. I showed them what it is that they need to do to offer excellent customer service. And to hear those reflections from the customers of their experience with us, and we're seeing them all the time in our reviews. Yeah. Jeremy, Angel, whoever took great care of me. I appreciate their knowledge and their, dumbing things down for me, because let's face it, we're in a very sophisticated world.
No question.
And I want to say there's another kind of a scenario that kind of parallels ours, and it's the medical profession. You go to a general practitioner and you have a problem that's beyond what anything they do, they give you a referral, right? And they refer you to the next guy, and then the next guy gets his referral. And we got to do an MRI, we got to do electrocardiogram. We have to do all different kinds of tests that they don't do in a general practitioner's office. But when you come to a shop that has the depth of experience that our 3 shops have, you come and you find that you have someone that does that stuff. Does everyone do diesel? No, they don't. Does everyone do electric cars? No, they don't. Does everyone do hybrids? There's such diversity in the automotive world that, you need to find someone who really has a specialist on board that works on this. Oh yeah, we work on hybrids. We change the oil and we can do tires and brakes. Well, you can do that on, anything, right? And so the point is that having certifications and training, and all of us are relentless on having ongoing training. We have to, because this is one of the most morphing industries, I think, in the world. I think it's more the medical thing. Yeah, it morphs to a certain degree, and they're using different techniques to do things, to do different procedures and stuff like that. And those are obviously learned skills that they have to train the physicians and everything to do. But our industry morphs at warp speed, if you will,
You bet.
And what today is no longer tomorrow, or it's been changed so completely that we have to continue to have continued education. And those who don't are going to fall by the wayside. Thousands of shops across the country close every year because they don't have the money to invest in the equipment and the training and everything that they need to keep up with the industry's metamorphosis, as I call it. And so, we understand the importance of that. I mean, I've sacrificed, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. And it's not just the computers and the programs and the equipment. It's the training. It's everything that is intricated into all of that stuff that makes the difference between a great shop and a mediocre shop.
So to wrap this thing up here, because we got to wrap it up, but it's been a great show, and there's been a lot of great information. And my final thoughts on this is that, you guys had mentioned clean. People walking into a clean shop, and that's a telltale sign of how much that person that owns that place, the staff there, how much they care.
Pride of ownership.
Pride of ownership, and exactly. And one of the things that Lee always says all the time is when you go into a shop and you see a sign that says "Friends Serving Friends," that's a quality shop.
Yeah.
And because that's what it all boils down to is friends serving friends.
There's an old adage that says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's correct.
And that's the care part's got to be first and foremost at the foreground. And hey, thanks for joining us today. Lee, you guys are, you and Dave are just awesome. It's like being in the presence of the Almighty's here.
Guys, you know what? You guys are inspiring in and of yourselves. Don't ever.
Yeah, no,
don't forget that.
it's a great podcast. I love doing it, and I love hanging out with you guys because it's always fun. We always have great banter, great conversation. We give each other a hard time.
And kudos to our wives who put up with us for all these years, and to Olivia for being an amazing producer. And
We're very fortunate.
We're very fortunate.
we really are. She
Yeah.
keeps us in line.
She herds cats
most of the time.
She herds cats.
And I think we all owe a great debt of gratitude to all of our customers, and thank you. You know what I mean, for
Yes.
coming and
Trusting
coming
us.
back and trusting us.
Yep.
Really, thank you for being our.
And if you
partners
can't
and
find
our
a good
friends.
shop and you're from out of town, give us a call. We have recommended shops from Automotive Training Institute. They have 1,960 shops across the country that we can find. Get your zip code and we'll find a shop near you where you will get great service because they hold themselves to the same standards as we do.
And guys, hey, it's another great day, another great podcast, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next podcast. It's been a blast.
Make it
Yeehaw!
great. Be good.
Bye.